Morning, sweetie.
Morning, honey.
Got some coffee.
Yep.
Got some fire in the stove.
Coffee was much needed.
Because it's a cold, rainy day. So this past week has been really, really warm, so we haven't needed a fire. I mean, Friday, was it Thursday or Friday? It was 83 degrees.
Beautiful.
And, yeah, this is in February, the end of February, which is, kind of not typical for far northern California being that warm. It actually set a record.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
But today is not setting any records. It's kind of chilly out there, so that's why we got a fire going.
Well, it's been at the end of February or March that our big snowstorms came too.
Mm-hmm. A couple of years in April.
Uh-huh.
And 3 years ago, right before we left for Kauai, there was it snowed up in Shingletown.
And that was May.
Yeah, and that was May.
Yeah.
So you roll the dice and you take your chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about the events of this past week, starting from Monday.
Oh, Monday was a beautiful day. Monday we were blessed with twins. My daughter had twins.
Not us.
Not us. No. Nope, we're beyond that.
We're vicariously enjoying twins.
Yes. So we have Bodie and Wyatt, who's with us. Beautiful. It went fairly smoothly. But it's new. I mean, I don't think that I had any experience with twins, so I really didn't have a lot of answers or suggestions, except do you know something, helping the kids just have some time to sleep and rest, and because if one twin was up and the other one was down, then the other one went down and the other one was up, and it was like it's constant. And mom, my daughter, she had major surgery having these twins. It's not like it's a quick recovery. It's a 6-week recovery. And plus she's trying to get the breastfeeding down and all that. And it was, that part, I'm not a professional in those things. I think sometimes family in general think that anything that has to do with children, that I should have some sort of expertise around it, or that's what you got your master's in, why don't you know? And quite honestly, I did get a lot of education around this, but what is the most important is experience. And I have no experience having twins. And
well, I need to poke in for just a second. Early childhood education and neonatal care are not the same thing.
No, they're not.
So they're expecting you to be an expert in neonatal care.
Well, they weren't, but just in general, my family will say, well, why don't you know about this? You have your degree in this or whatever it is. And oftentimes the experience is different. Each individual child is different. Families are different. Mindset is different. Perspective is different. So, there's many layers to, you just don't want to put out your advice. It doesn't matter how many children I've had, these two humans that were just born are their own human, and they have different needs or different approaches that you have to take with them. What I've ever done with infants my entire life, being in the field, doesn't mean that's going to work for Bodie or Wyatt.
Plus, when you add in the fact that they're twins, that's a whole level of magnitude more difficult.
So a little bit about the experience this week. I set up a dinner train so that we have family bringing them food at night, which has been really helpful. Oh my gosh, that's just taken a weight off of them. And
what's a dinner train?
The dinner train is where family, I had an app and I sent the app to family and they could sign up to bring dinner one night of their choosing. And in the app, I shared, the foods that they enjoy and whatnot. And so last night they had a beef vegetable soup delivered. The night before they had a full Mexican meal delivered. It's just been really nice. And then their first night home, I think they made like a cheeseburger soup, which they were just raving about. And it's a way that I could give on how, others were asking, how can we help? And so that was my way of including everybody. Not only that, people that were bringing the food over could meet the twins and check in with the family and just give them hugs and support. And it's working out well. My son-in-law, his mom was there on the Wednesday and Thursday when they first got home, and then I went in on Friday, Saturday. So I just got home just a bit ago, so that's why we're recording this a little bit later. But and they've had visitors and people coming in. We had Carly, my daughter, her sister-in-law, brought a whole bunch of breakfast yesterday morning for the whole family. So they're, people are coming in and bringing things and then being able to really support Carly and Wes and Sawyer and Willie, who's the puppy dog. I mean, it's just like this whole unit thing needs to be supported. It's not just focused on the twins. It's focused on helping that family just being able to manage the ins and outs and day in, day out of caring for a home. And so I showed up on Friday a little bit later than what I planned to because I wanted to get all my work stuff done. I didn't want to have to focus on any work this weekend from my job. Being a college faculty, sometimes I bring work home with me and I work on it when it's quiet on a Sunday afternoon, as today is. But I got it all done. And it's amazing how when I showed up, it was like a system had not been put in place for the bottle cleaning, sanitization, the breastfeed materials cleaning and sanitization, and there were too many coffee cups in the cabinet. And so immediately I go into fix-it mode because that's how I operate, and I set up a system for this, and it just made the weekend go so much better, and they were so appreciative of that. And I also said, I'm not here to, just sit and hold the baby. I'm here to get your house clean. Carly can't clean the house. So I did laundry. I kept the dishes out of the sink and cleaned. I kept putting things away. Cleaned off tables to make sure there's always a place for people to sit when they came to visit. And then at night when they were sleeping, I allowed them to sleep, 3 and 4 hours spurts instead of an hour spurt. And I cared for the babies. And the first night I was there, they had severe gas. And they called it the witching hour. And we couldn't get the babies to settle down for like 3 hours. It was fussing, trying to get them to burp and changing diapers and getting them comfortable. And finally, after about 3 hours, it settled in. And last night was amazing. Mom and Dad hopped right in there, and they were caring for we all went to bed about 10. That was the last feeding, was at 10 at night, which is about an hour and a half later than what I normally go to bed. But I've been working on it with them. And then about 1 o'clock, the babies woke up, and both Mommy and Daddy were, talking quiet, having practice breastfeeding, and then Daddy making bottles as a backup, and then Mommy changing a diaper and Daddy changing a diaper, and I'm on the couch sleeping, and they're in the living room because the babies were in there with me because I was allowing them to sleep, but they were in it. I woke up and I'm like, oh, I didn't hear them wake up, and they're like, oh, they didn't. They were fussing a little bit, and we decided it's 3 hours. We're going to go ahead, and it just made my heart happy that they were kicking into the system that we talked about. And About 4 o'clock in the morning, Mom and Dad were sleeping. Dad made a big fire in the fireplace, and I said, hey, I got this. And so he went to bed, and I did the feeding of Bodie first, and got his diaper changed, fed him, put him back down, and then did Wyatt, put him back down, and then we all slept till about 7:30. And it was a beautiful night. I just really enjoyed it. I'm so blessed to just be part of it.
Well, they are both fortunate in that they have a support system. Can you imagine doing what they're doing with twins, with you never having that experience before, and they didn't have the family support system, the family and community support system?
No, there's lots of people that do it without the support system, and
can you imagine how much more difficult?
Oh yeah, I mean, rough. Really, it's hard. Twins are a whole nother animal. It's not just like bringing one baby home. It makes one baby seem like a piece of cake. So yeah. And while I was gone, we have our new puppies, and you had an experience with the puppies. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to house train them, so we want them to poop and pee outside and not poop and pee inside, which normally that would be the goal for any animal owner.
Yeah.
Cats are easier. I mean, practically from birth, you show them a sandbox or a litter box, and they take right to it. With a few accidents here and there, but dogs don't do litter boxes. They do carpets, and they do floors, and
they do. Oh my gosh, I gotta pee.
Yeah, and they don't care where they pee. They ultimately want to please you, but you have to let them and train them, and it's also a training of the owner or the caretaker, if you think of it that way. We have to let them know, okay, I don't want you to pee here. I want you to pee out there. They're not really able to distinguish the difference. Why can't I pee here? Or why do I have to pee out here when this spot is right here?
It's right here, yeah.
Yeah, and Friday night, you were gone. You were helping take care of the babies. In the middle of the night, I wake up and there's a wet paw on my face.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and they peed on the bed. One of them peed on the bed.
Oh, God.
So I had to get up and take them outside. Oh. And one of them hops down because they both sleep on the bed at this point. When they get older, they won't be sleeping on the bed, to be clear. But right now, when they're sleeping on the bed, you know where they're at. That way, if you feel them wiggling and whining, and to get up and take care of it, take them outside.
Right.
Everybody outside. Let's go pee-pee. But if they're on the floor, I really don't want to kennel them or crate them. We've never really done that, so I don't want to start now. Anyway, I digress. I wake up, wet paw on my face. I recognize immediately it wasn't them licking their paw. It was they went pee-pee and then stepped in it and then ran all over the bed and slapped me in the face with a wet paw. And I get up. I'm groggy. I'm trying to get my robe on, get my shoes on so we can go outside. One of them hops down and pees on the floor. Well, I'm trying to get everything together here.
Nobody moves fast in the middle of the night.
No, well, they did.
Yeah.
Lulu did. She hopped off the bed, and as soon as she hit the floor,
she squatted
and peed.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with this, so I'm trying to lead up to, you mentioned the other day that since we're struggling with the whole potty training, getting them outside, you mentioned, well, why not use Pavlovian Theory?
Right.
In case of people who are not aware of who Pavlov was, Igor Pavlov was a Russian scientist that he figured out once you ring a bell for a dog, in the dog's presence, you ring a bell and you give him food. And you ring a bell, give him food. Ring a bell, give him food. When you ring the bell, without the food, they start slobbering, they start salivating. Mm-hmm. So it's a pattern. They associate the sound with the activity. People do the same thing, but he proved it with dogs.
Right.
So now the Pavlovian theory is people train their dogs with clickers. They go click, click, and which is a reward, and they give them a treat. And when the dog does something that you want them to do, like peeing outside or pooping outside,
right,
instead of inside, if they're inside and pee on the floor, they don't get the click, they don't get the treat.
right.
So we take them outside. Okay, everybody run outside, run down the hall, let's go outside and go pee-pee. And when they did, you're supposed to click, give them a treat. I didn't want to buy a clicker because I might not always have a clicker with me. So I started going like that.
Yeah.
The click sound with your tongue. So, and it works. So I started trying that
Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. And we have a little bag of kitty treats. And they don't care if it's a kitty treat or a doggy treat. They love it.
Yeah.
So
it's a treat.
It's a treat, right? I could give them a piece of chicken poop, and they'd think it was a treat.
They would.
Yeah,
They're so
won't get into that. But they like chicken poop, but they like the kitty treats better. So anytime we go out in the middle of the night, and I see one of them squat to pee, give them a treat. And as soon as now they come running to me. Once they're done, they're in the middle of a squat and they're staring at me. Okay, Dad, what comes next? Then as soon as they're done squatting, and they come running.
Yeah.
And I give them a treat.
Yeah.
And you have to have the treats with you, so you have to have a handful.
Yeah.
Without them seeing it, because
they push themselves to go potty like 3 times just a minute ago, and go big potty, and then they came right to you.
Yep.
So you've got them. It took today's Sunday.
Yeah.
It took 24 hours to train them. Smart dogs, man.
Well, it seems to be working now. I mean, there was one puddle this morning because I don't think I was paying close enough attention. I was drinking coffee or something.
You've been left alone all weekend, manning the house and taking care of everything, and I do appreciate it. I truly do.
Well, you're welcome. But it comes with the territory. I understand that. But they seem to associate, okay, let's run outside, let's go pee-pee. As soon as they say, let's run outside and go pee-pee, they all run down the hallway.
Yep.
They both run down the hallway. Yep. Now, even Luna's getting in on it. Luna says, okay.
Luna's 3.
Yeah, Luna's 3. I'll get a treat. Watch me go pee-pee. And then she stares at me and she wants a treat.
What a turkey.
Yeah, but she gets a treat.
Yeah, she should. She's a good dog.
So whenever I walk out there, I have a whole handful.
Yeah.
And because I don't know how many times they're gonna, squat to pee. Even if it's a fake pee, even if it's a squat and they don't pee, or they just look at me. Okay, that is behavior that is rewarded for doing that outside and not inside.
Probably should have a little fanny pack with a thing of treats in it for when we go on walks, because we're going to start training them.
Yep.
It's been an experience this week, and I want to talk a little bit about our self-care and how this has affected our self-care, because when things like this happen, when life happens and you get diverted at all, sometimes things have to shift. One of the things for me this week is I wasn't getting my meditation in the morning. Friday or Saturday, I didn't get any meditation in. And all week was kind of jumbled up because we had the babies on Monday. I was at the hospital Monday and Tuesday. They came home Wednesday. I did not go there on Wednesday. I wanted to give them that space, or Thursday, except for dropping off medications that I had picked up to take to my daughter. Or our daughter. And then on Friday is when I went there and stayed. So my self-care, I did get to the gym still. I did do some body rolling to keep my body in alignment. I did some stretching, and then I went into the little sauna at the gym for 10 minutes and did some meditation there. But the thing about self-care is what I know, it's not starting over in anything. It's I can't wait to get back to my routine, and I'm going to. It's gonna just slide right back in because I've been practicing meditation, walking, pushing weights, eating good food, taking good care of myself this focus and our mindset work that we've been doing since last June. I really am not as hard on myself when I don't get to do, that routine, because I know I'm going to get back to it. And there's almost a sense of excitement going, I can't wait till I can take that 10 minutes in the morning, and I can't wait until I can go for a nice long walk and maybe push some weights around this week. And but there's no do-over. I lived my life in the dieting world where every Monday, I'll start that on Monday. I'll start over on Monday. And there is no Monday in self-care. There's when my schedule is back on track, or let's say you go on vacation, you're not going to do the same self-care out on vacation as you do when you get home. But when you get home, you're right back at it. Like it's something it just is.
Well, I think we do have a vacation plan for this summer. Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why we can't continue what we're doing now to be able to do a 10-minute meditation in the morning. 5 minutes is better than nothing. If we can't get 10 minutes, at least we get 5 minutes to be calm and push all the thoughts out and focus on your breathing.
We will have our own balcony. Yes. So we could go sit on our own balcony, do our meditation, and then go out to the main part of the room with the kids, because we have 2 kids and grandkids going with us.
And we don't necessarily have to do a whole lot of weight training while we're out there, but we will be doing a lot of walking, a lot of hiking, that sort of stuff, outside every day. So movement really won't be an issue.
No, I don't think so.
And we eat the same stuff on vacation as we do here.
Right.
Because first thing we do when we land in Lihue, which is the main part where the airport is on the island of Kauai, we get our rental car, whatever car we're going to have. We head to Costco. We have a list of stuff we're going to get, whether steak, fish, vegetables, the stuff we
butter,
eggs,
bacon,
heavy cream, all the stuff that we normally eat here.
That's right.
We're eating there because we have a full kitchen. We have access to a good barbecue. So go ahead.
How many times did we go out to eat when we went there last year? Twice. In 4 weeks?
Yeah.
We eat in because we find value in being at the resort and being kind of in that space with family and not have to be rushed out. And we play a lot of cards. We do a lot of stuff, in the room at night.
It was actually 3 times because we went to breakfast at one time.
Oh, yeah. Well, we always usually do a breakfast at the country kitchen. Mm-hmm. And we go to Brennicke's for brunch.
In Poipu,
usually, in Poipu. And then we usually try to find the Shaka Burger.
Yes.
To have a Shaka Burger.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the 3 things that we normally do. Or what's the Bubba's Burger?
Yeah, Bubba's
Sometimes
Burger.
we'll go to Bubba's after a hike because they have, okay burgers.
That ramen place was really good.
That was a find that was kind of off the beaten path that we didn't realize was there.
It's a little hole-in-wall place in a strip mall that they have the most amazing black garlic ramen. I've come close, but I haven't really been able to duplicate it.
Yeah.
But and that's okay because if you have it all the time, it's not so much as a treat when you get there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a treat.
Right. So I think how this kind of connects to self-care also is, if anybody's listening to this, I want to tell you, if you have vacation, take it. Don't wait. Don't say, well, when I retire, I'll be on vacation. Vacation, if your job gives you vacation for a week, 2 weeks, a year, take the vacation. You deserve time with family. You deserve time to refill your cup and to rejuvenate your body. I gotta say, going to Kauai we've been going
since 2013.
Yeah, 11 years now. We go every year, and that's going to change. But we're making some changes when it comes to our vacation annually. That's going to change in the coming years. But this will be our last big trip to Kauai. I'm sure we'll go there again with family, but it's just going to change and it's going to be different. But it was from the first time we went to every time we go. It's a place where you can go and kind of exhale all the stressors and the stress that you carry as an adult living in this world, having to take care of business day in and day out, running your family, and being able to go and just sit on a beach and play in the sand, and it's calm. It's spiritually replenishing and helps me kind of get ready for the next thing.
It's a good reset.
It really is a good reset. And so we have to continue to take good care of ourselves. No one's going to come do it for me. I hate that. I wish somebody would kind of do it for me sometimes, because it is work, but it's got to be, I'd much rather do the hard thing and do the work than complain about how I'm sore from doing nothing. Because either way, there's soreness or, those feelings that you get after a workout, like, oh, my muscles hurt because I'm so sore. But there's muscles that hurt when you sit too much.
Yeah, sitting on your butt doesn't really give you a dopamine hit like when you leave the gym. If you really work your behind off for a half hour, 45 minutes, or even an hour at the gym, when you leave, you get that big old. At least I do. I get the big old slug of dopamine. Yeah. Some people call it the runner's high. People who run understand that there's a thing called a runner's high. It doesn't happen while you're running. It happens when you're done. And the
days after.
Yes.
Like, you'll think of a run that you did on a Sunday on Wednesday and think, oh my God, that was such a fantastic run. That's why people after a marathon will run a marathon, and in the middle of the marathon, they may think to themselves, I can't believe I signed up to do this. This is hard. This is hard. This is hard. Then after the marathon, they get this huge dopamine hit, and they're already looking for other marathons to go do, even though they suffered through the entire process. We did that.
Yeah, big slug of endorphins.
Yeah. So, I it was tough this week, but it was also very gratifying. And, I look forward to just watching our family grow. We get to see our grandkids and our kid from Indiana in June, so we're excited about that. We don't get to see them very often.
Emily and Rain and Sadie.
Yeah.
Emily's our daughter. Rain and Sadie. Rain is 13 now. Can you believe it? And Sadie is 10 going on 30.
Oh my gosh.
And she's in karate and all kinds of stuff. But being able to see them this summer, that's going to be a blast. And Casey and Grayson are both going at the same time. Yep. So we're going to have 2 of our kids and 3 of our grandkids there.
Yeah.
And one of the most awesome places in the world you can go. Maybe we're biased. I don't know.
I think so, a little bit. I think so. But it's become kind of a home away from home when we get there. We kind of know where everything is on the island. We know what roads not to go down to and what beaches probably shouldn't go to. And then we just, even after going there 11 years, we found a beach that we didn't know about and we went to, and it was beautiful. And so we keep discovering as well as exploring. My goal, and this has been one of my goals since I had the Moderna shot. And we went, and I couldn't hardly walk when we went to that one year. Mm-hmm. Going up steps were a struggle. My goal, when I get to Kauai this year, is to be able to walk on the Kalalau Trail to the waterfall. And it is 4 miles in, and it feels like uphill both ways. But the trail is one of the hardest trails on the island. But it also involves... It involves... I don't know what's happening.
We have a cat that's trying to barf. I don't know. He's flinging slobber and stuff everywhere. Yeah, let's get him off the table. Not sure why it came up on the table.
I don't know. But I don't know what I was saying.
Oh, the Catalao Trail.
Yeah.
It's 4 miles in, 8 miles out.
Right.
But it is a lot of uphill, a lot of downhill. The view is unparalleled, spectacular views.
Oh, yeah.
And the breeze is once you get higher up, and the breeze is coming off the water onto the coast.
And you get to actually see some of the that side of the island that is less traveled.
The Nepali coast.
The Nepali coast. So it's beautiful. One thing I learned, one of the first times we went up on this trail was there was water coming off the mountain. It had been raining prior to us going on this particular hiking up Catalao Trail. And there was water coming off the mountain. And so I took the water and splashed it up on my shoulders thinking, because it was warm, kind of muggy that day.
And the water was nice and cool and refreshing.
Yeah. And actually on any island that you go to, you have to be careful about putting water that's just coming out of the side of the mountain on your skin, because there could be certain
little
mites in the water. And what happened was they bit me all over my shins and all over my shoulders, and I got really sick. And I was sick for like 3 days. So you have to be careful when you do that.
We didn't know.
That's right. I tend to find things that we don't know that we need to learn. Don't I?
Don't step in goose poop.
Yeah.
They have the native Hawaiian geese. That's the state bird, I believe. They're called nene geese. Yeah. They're native to Hawaii, but they're not endemic to Hawaii. They exist on some of the other Polynesian islands, but they're used to people feeding them. You're not supposed to feed them. They're a protected species. They have little ankle bracelets on, so they identify the individuals. But you're not supposed to feed them. But if you're outside on the lanai on the ground floor, they'll come right up to you, going acting like they're starving, wanting something to eat. They want a potato chip or a bite of your sandwich.
Yeah.
But they do poop everywhere. You just have to be careful not to step in it. I don't know why I went off on that rabbit trail.
I don't know, but one of the things that I just want to circle back a little bit about, as our children are having children, one of the conversations that came up with my daughter was there's been a learning curve for them specifically, and there is a little bit of anxiousness and stress around bringing home 2 brand new babies and all these things. And some family that come in tend to want to share what they think they should be doing.
Unsolicited advice.
Yes. I did not do that specifically on purpose. I don't usually give my kids advice unless they ask me. Or if I'm not on my right mindset, I give it, and I probably shouldn't have, type of thing. I know I've done it in the past on accident and then realized that probably could have kept that to myself. But I was listening to Mel Robbins, and if you haven't listened to Mel Robbins on the Let Them Theory, one of the things, she had a guest speaker on her podcast this week, and one of the things they talked about is if you have someone telling you something that is negative or unsolicited advice or not helping the situation, one of the things that you can do, and I shared this with my daughter, was, when someone is telling you you should do it differently, or don't do it like that, or I don't know why you're having a hard time, I had 8 kids type of conversation, you can simply say to someone, and I told her, and say it to me, if ever I've overstepped, it's totally okay to say to me or to anybody else at that moment, how is that helping me right now? And what that does is it doesn't cause conflict because you're just asking the question. How is that helping me right now? Do we need to discuss this right now?
So, should I use that on you when you're telling me that I'm doing something wrong without?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that doesn't happen very often.
It happens every week, honey.
Well,
every day.
Well,
I'm bossy. Let's just say it how it is. I'm controlling. I am bossy. I totally know all that. But it's how I've dealt with my trauma all my whole life. Control is one of the things we do when you have things out of your control for so long. Controlling things and that whole mindset around I have to know how it's going to work and I have to make sure it goes my way is a trauma response oftentimes for me. It's not that I don't believe you can't do it, because you are the doer of all things in my life. You're the calm in my life. You're the person that brings me to that place of think before you speak and think, listen, be a good listener. You've taught me so much in that world. So when I'm doing those things, it's either it's not getting done quick enough for me because I'm controlling, or this is how I'm going to control it because I need control right now. I need to do this. This is my thing. And it's not that I don't want to be open to that, but I think a lot of relationships struggle because they don't recognize that they are being controlling. And I'm fully aware how controlling I am. Go ahead.
Well, whenever I say that, whenever I say, okay, how is that helping me right now? I will say it with a smile, and that'll diffuse the situation without me becoming defensive or you becoming defensive.
Because won't it work? I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
I think it will totally work. And something that I really want to talk about too, before we move into closing things up here, is that relationships are hard. It's the hardest thing we do is to be a married couple, but it's the most rewarding. Raising children is the hardest thing we do as parents, but it's the most rewarding. Hopefully, not always, but it can be the most rewarding, and it can be the most detrimental, depending on your kids and how they turned out. But relationships in general are really hard. I think that's why the divorce rates are so far up in this world in general. People give in really quick, not realizing with every up there's a down, and with every down there's an up. Like things, you get past those things. Good self-care means, and this is why we started this podcast, was we sit and have conversations when there's no friction. And then we'll be having a conversation and you're like, hey, something kind of came up. Can I share it here? And then we'd have a conversation about it. And then later on, we'd be like, oh yeah, we talked about this. This is the thing that I do that I know drives him crazy, right?
I'm sure I do stuff that drives you crazy.
Of course you do. That's what humans do. We all have human tendencies. We all have our things. But that's what I'm saying. We tend to talk about them. And there's been times we've sat at this table and talked for hours about the trauma that I've been through and why I do what I do. Another one is I hate people telling me what to do. I actually had this conversation just recently at work about I don't like people telling me what to do. I think I struggled with that my whole life because I didn't respect those that were telling me what to do. Because it would come with criticism. It would come with, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. And I'll be darned. I am good enough and I am smart enough. And I've broke a lot of chains of what my generational trauma was. And my hope is that our grandbabies that were born this week and our grandchildren that are that we have 6 grandchildren now. Our hope is always that it gets better each generation. Right?
Yes, that absolutely is the goal, to make it get better and better and better.
And the way it gets better and better is by recognizing the change we can do now. That means taking good care of ourselves, taking good care of our family. We're always there for our family. We will drop everything we're doing to go be with family. Family first. Always. Actually, God first. Family. Everything else, we're just lucky enough to be part of, right?
Absolutely. We are absolutely, truly blessed.
Yeah.
So you think that's a podcast?
I think so. I think it's close.
I want to thank everybody for listening. All three of you, or however many people listen. It's tough to tell because we see the numbers or statistics on not on Spotify. No,
Podbean.
on Podbean, but not on Spotify. I haven't really looked at the numbers there.
No.
But we are very grateful for people listening in, tuning in, listen to our baloney or sage advice every
We're not
every
doctors.
Sunday.
We're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists. We're just a couple that want to share a story. And if you know of anybody that could benefit from listening to stories and how we get through our ins and outs of life and self-care and mindset, that is really our focus here. It's not to, we can't tell anybody what to do. Nobody can change by us telling anybody what to do. Change comes intrinsically.
Yeah,
and
from within.
If you know someone that would be interested in listening or coming and talking on our podcast, please leave a message in the comment. Give us a like or two. Share it out. And let's keep having the conversation.
A little bit about the bumper music that you hear at the very beginning of each podcast. The very first podcast is something that somebody else recorded. It was music that we did not have the copyright to and have been unable to reach the producer of the music, so we stopped using it. I didn't want to run afoul of any legal issues. So the music you've been hearing at the very beginning is something that I recorded. I played it on the guitar. It's not perfect. It's a little bit buzzy here and there. I've only been playing guitar for about a year, but it's something that I thought turned out okay. It's something that I would be able to listen to even though I knew that I played it. As I get better and I'll be able to play something different or something a little bit more, soothing. I think it's soothing enough, but as I get different tunes, that sort of stuff, it's something I just made up. Basically, it's a picking pattern with chords, and as I get something different, I'll record something different, and you'll be able to hear it. But again, it's homegrown stuff. That's all I got to say about
Kind of like
that.
the conversation.
Yeah,
It's homegrown.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right, honey, have a good week.
Love you, sweetie.
I love you too. Bye.